Hi, I'm John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to our webinar on the Masters in Business Analytics at UMass Isenberg. We have two folks from Isenberg School of Management to talk about the program and give you all the nitty-gritty you need to know to take advantage of it. We have Tricia Heavy. No, that's right. Tricia Heavy. Am
Yeah.
I pronouncing that correctly?
Trista Heavey.
Heavy. Okay.
I
And
would have
almost,
rolled
I
with it,
almost think
John.
we need an extra E before the V, but okay. Executive Director of Graduate Employer Relations and Outreach.
Yes.
So she's the person who makes the jobs happen. And then we have Jessica Dory, who is Recruitment and CRM Manager at the Isenberg School of Management. Welcome.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
So one thing that I'm intrigued by is you really have three different programs in a way. You have one on the flagship campus in Amherst, you have one on your relatively new campus in Newton, and then you have an online version of this program. I'm assuming that more or less they're all the same. You're going to learn the same thing when you enroll either in the online program or the one at Amherst or Newton. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. The main thing we want to express to students is that regardless of the modality or the location that you choose, you're receiving the same education. It's the same curriculum, a lot of the same faculty. It's just kind of designed to meet you where you're at, fit into your schedule in a way that works for you.
Right. And business analytics degrees have become very popular, I'd say, in the last 10 years or so. Yours was launched, I think, roughly 8 years ago. Um, what do you learn in a master's in business analytics?
In our program in particular, the core curriculum, there's 6 courses in the core curriculum that every student takes. And those really emphasize those technical skills in advanced Excel, in SQL, R, Python, Tableau, SAP Analytics. These really high in demand skills in the industry. We also offer 2 tracks. So this may be the same for some other programs, different than others, but we have a business foundations track, which allows you to dive a little bit deeper into business operations and finance, accounting, marketing, and leadership and organizational behavior. So students who aren't familiar with business language and just the language of the industry, it gives them that exposure. And then for students who are already familiar with that or just want to dive really deep into data analytics, there's electives in AI, which of course is growing
Indeed,
exponentially. So
for
AI
sure.
or cybersecurity, supply chain, marketing analytics. So ways to really cater the degree in a way that's going to support your career goals and complement your undergrad degree.
And the on-campus program at both Amherst and Newton, which is only 10 miles from Boston, are both STEM designated, for one thing. Secondly, they're all both one-year programs, right?
That's correct. So both designed as 1 year on-campus STEM programs. There are options to extend the programs a bit. For example, we have an advanced analytics concentration where students take even more electives and add this concentration onto their degree. Some students will also opt to take some online classes as well and extend their degree and kind of do a hybrid of location and modality options as their schedule allows. So we try to provide that flexibility and the different options so students can complete the degree in a way that works for them.
And the one-year program is that full-time or part-time?
Full time. Yeah.
Right.
So 4 classes or so each semester.
So if you want the part-time option, you want to go online, right?
Yeah, we would definitely encourage students to choose online for part-time. But if they're in the Amherst area or in the Newton area and want that face-to-face experience, they can speak to their advisor about opting into some of those on-campus courses as well.
In which you can take up to 4 years to finish the online degree.
Correct. Yep.
So you can do it at your own pace, essentially, depending on your personal and professional responsibilities and how they go up and down. As we all know, it's a roller coaster ride.
Exactly. And those online classes are asynchronous. So students can work during the day, work in the evening. Some instructors do offer optional live sessions as well. So if you want that face-to-face time, but you don't live in the area, you can attend those in the evening or on a weekend to kind of get that network and just that classroom feel that you may feel like you're missing in an online program.
Now, specialty master's programs come in basically two flavors. One is pre-experience, meaning you can go straight from undergrad into a master's program. You don't have to have work experience per se. And then there's those that have require, a 2 or more years of work experience. Which one does your fall into? Which category?
We do not require work experience for this program. So
Okay.
students can come right out of undergrad. They can also, UMass Amherst undergraduates can also accelerate the program and take some classes while they're still in their senior year of undergrad. So an even more efficient way to get 2 degrees really quickly.
Now let's just suppose I am a poet. I'm not a quant, but I'm really into in the weeds on analytics, and I really think this is the right degree for me. As a poet, am I going to be overwhelmed?
Depends on the person. However, I can speak from my own experience. I can kind of go to the student side as well, since I have taken a few of the online business analytics courses as well. I studied sustainable development, so not also more of a poet than a quant. And I took a few of the initial core courses, and I found it very digestible, even online. The instructors really want you to learn, they want to meet you where you're at. Some assignments had, here's a base level version. You need to complete this to be competent in the concepts we're teaching. But if you're already familiar with this and this seems too easy, here's a more complex assignment that you can do. So really within each class as well, catering to where students are, knowing that students are entering without this experience.
Right. Now, for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about UMass Amherst and the Isenberg School of Management.
Yeah, absolutely. So UMass Amherst is the flagship of the 5 campus UMass system. There's about 30,000 students studying an array of programs at various levels. The Isenberg School of Management offers a variety of AACSB accredited undergraduate, master's, and doctoral degree programs, both online and on campus. So we are a leader in online education with our online MBA launched in 2001. And as you've kind of noticed, that has expanded to other programs as well to offer that
And
flexibility.
your online MBA degree is very highly ranked and highly thought of. And so is your master's in business analytics. You've got a very high ranking from US News on that program.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the other thing, you may not know this, but one of my daughters went to UMass in Amherst and has
Amazing.
an undergraduate and a master's degree. Sadly, not in business because, I'm a real pro-business person. Um, but she had a great time, and Amherst is a beautiful town. It really is. So, if I were to ask students in the program, and I guess we can almost separate them between the online folks and then the on-campus folks. What are the highlights of this program for you? What are the things that you will remember long after you graduate that will endure and mean something to you? What would they say? This is one of my favorite questions when I go to a campus and sit in a bar and have a beer with students.
Love that. And Trista, you may have some insight as well, speaking more with alumni. I know what I hear a lot is just how instantly applicable all of the skills are. So, halfway through your first semester, you already are speaking the language and feel competent discussing some of these concepts. So you can start the interview process really early on in the program and essentially know what you're talking about and be able to market yourself really early on in the program, which is definitely a highlight. And I know students really appreciate the one-on-one support, both from academic advising standpoint, where they can work with an advisor throughout the program, and then also our career coach staff, who are phenomenal and will also meet one-on-one with students throughout the program and up to 6 months following the program.
And would an online student tell me anything different from an on-campus student?
I think one thing I've noticed and I've seen through discussion posts and everything is the way that instructors offer various ways for students to learn. So they'll upload, student or sorry, professors who are teaching both on campus and online might upload a recording of their live class lecture. So you're getting that student participation aspect as well. They'll upload a PowerPoint presentation. They'll do follow along uh, assignments and things like that. So it's all the same content, but just presented in different ways so that depending what your learning style is, you're really able to grasp all the concepts that are being presented.
Right. That's terrific. Now, let's say I'm an undergraduate, I'm a senior, and I majored in something that I actually majored in political science and English, and now I know that it may be difficult for me to get a job. And I'm thinking, okay, what kind of specialized business degree could I get to immediately land a job that pays decent salary and graduates of your program make over $80,000 to start a year. Um, how do I know that analytics is the right one for me? What are the questions? What are the sort of things I need to ask myself to know that this is the right field?
Yeah, I mean, I would say to connect with alumni, right? Like identify using the network, even as an undergrad, our students have access to our alumni directory and are able to really explore people who have career goals and pathings that they're interested in and have those authentic conversations, right? Our network is incredible and our alumni are always willing to have those early seed conversations, especially with an undergraduate who might be exploring an analytics degree or other, kind of acumens heading into their master's. So I would say utilizing your network and having those conversations, looking at roles and opportunities, thinking about location you might want to end up in, depending on geographic or industry. And truthfully, what do you enjoy? What are those transferable skills that you enjoy, and how do you take it from where you are now to where you want to go in the future? And some of that is really life design and thinking about your values and your skill sets and your end goals. And so really connecting with individuals who are in positions that you might want to explore.
Right. And what kind of doors does this degree open for people? What kind of careers do they tend to have?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see when we work with our students, really, we very much tailor it one-on-one to the individual. And so beyond the title, we always ask the students, what type of impact do you want to have through data, especially with a business analytics degree, is how do you want to use that? And what does that next step look like for you? And so really taking that lens and then exploring, are you interested in more of a data analytics area? What type of industries might that look like, right? Some of our top outcome industries are in financial services, technology, but also environmental sustainability areas. And so how do you take those skill sets and what impact do you want to have is a big part of the conversations our coaches have with our students.
Right. Now, international students in the program,
Mhm.
one of the things that is a good benefit is a STEM designation
Yes.
because it means that you would get 3 years of optional practical training, 3 years to work in the US, even without a work visa. Um, how important is that in terms of the appeal of the program for internationals?
I mean, at this stage, it's incredibly important to have those additional opportunities to kind of go and stay within the US for 3 years. I feel it's really critical. And we work with our students on how to have that conversation with employers and expressing the value of that, what that brings. And so for my students, especially international students, I think it's pretty critical at this stage that the program you're evaluating is STEM designated, but also how to articulate that in your job search is also equally as important.
And you could also get a paid internship as an international student, right?
Correct. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, which is really helpful. Um, so I wonder, in terms of the curriculum, whether there's any experiential learning, assignments, using databases that actually allow you to apply what you learn.
Yeah, so there, in terms of experiential learning, there isn't in the sense of internships or practicum that's built into the program, but instructors are definitely using like their real life experience, using case studies, even asking students to bring in their own workplace experience into assignments. So take a problem you're having at work, take this, new tool that you've learned. How are you going to use that to solve this problem? So a lot of it is really individualized to each student's industry, since we do accept students from wide range of industries and backgrounds. Not everyone might be interested in healthcare analytics or financial analytics. So allowing it to open up to any industry and how it applies to each student.
Is it important to know which field you want to go into before you go into the program, or can you go in, explore a little bit, and then make a decision?
It would definitely be helpful to know right off the bat, but not expected, especially since, excuse me, students are coming from a bunch of undergraduate majors. They might come from humanities backgrounds and know they need really technical skills to stand out in the job market, but not sure exactly what that's going to look like. So through taking core classes, you're exposed to the tools, exposed to the techniques, and then can take that and decide which electives you want to take. And that's really great having an academic advisor working with you as well, and career coaches who can help you pivot. Maybe it's unexpected. Maybe you think you want to go into fine arts or into psychology or something. And then the more you're taking classes, you realize that's not really the case. So you have that support along the way to kind of pivot and just cater the electives you're taking to meet you where you're at in each step of the program.
Right. I think too, the fact that you have pre-experienced students with some students that are experienced and maybe a little bit older is helpful because obviously, people who have experience can help those who don't have had no experience, and that creates a real good bonding in the classroom.
Yeah. And I would also say, exactly, it's a bonding, and students are learning from each other and exploring different things. But also, I think that even the students who believe they're going to go down one track often pivot, right? That's the whole point of a degree, is that you're being challenged in the classroom, but you're also trying new things. We utilize services such as Forage, which is an experience-based opportunity for our students to get real world experience and try things from the start. And so I think allowing our students into these systems to really try if they want to go into one sector like financial services and be an analyst in that space versus maybe consulting, they're able to try it in real time with us and then adjust their goals with a career coach should they want to explore a different path. But I would say, in more my experience, most of the students are coming in with an idea, but until you start doing that, you're not 100% sure.
Yeah, sure. Now, I wonder what employers say about the graduates that they hire from the program. What do
Yeah.
you typically hear?
Yeah. I think that our alumni and employer partners, expect a certain level of skill sets, right? This is a skill-based hiring environment. And so they're understanding that our graduates are coming with the core competencies that they need to complete their jobs. I think what makes our students stand out is the communication skills, the teamwork, the group environment, and really empathy and being a good team player and being a good member of the workforce. And so having those softer skills or more qualitative areas that they've explored helps them to kind of stand out in the environment.
Mm.
And so I think there's a lot of the skills that our students will check the box and then go above and beyond because we do have professional development opportunities that we really lean into.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about them. Like where does career services get involved with the student? How early on? And
Yeah.
what's the extent of the involvement? You spoke about coaching and advisors. How does that all work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we begin with what's called our master's kickoff or an orientation style programming that has workshop or conference style sessions where our coaches are facilitating workshops with our master's in business analytics students from day one of their program. It really starts very early along with their curriculum and it aligns nicely. We start to have those authentic conversations about their values, where they want to bring their data skill sets and start really drilling down in that lifestyle mentality with our coaches. So there's workshops and then there's one-on-one coaching that they receive. And there's really no cap to what that looks like, right? We might see a student who comes in a couple times in a semester. We hope to see them more, but our frequency is early and often so that we can help our students kind of develop where they want to go and start looking at the interview process, whether they're exploring an internship or some might go directly into a full-time employment search. And so really aligning in that front. But we offer a number of different areas to support our students after orientation as well, with workshops,
Mm.
one-on-one coaching. We have meta headsets in our office, so you can do some virtual augmented reality practice. So it could be
Ooh.
on having difficult conversations, it can be interview, but those types of environments really help our students excel. And so, really leaning on career services and encouraging our students to treat it just like a class and make that part of their goal is incredibly important, especially for a one-year program. So we're very much aligned with curriculum.
And I'm imagining that how to network and networking is an important piece of the puzzle, right? I think
Yeah.
this is especially difficult for international students, I think.
hmm Yeah, I mean, especially when you think about the hidden job market and 70% of the positions will never come to fruition on a job post,
Right.
networking is critical. And so having those conversations early when you possibly don't need that job opportunity, but you're exploring your career path that could lead to a connectivity, utilizing our alumni directory, showing up to virtual events or in-person engagements. We mentioned we have our online opportunities. So we host some online events as well as in-person engagements, trying to bring those cohorts together. And so building that synergy of networking early and how important that is to their job search is something we talk about a lot.
Great. Now, there are two big things right now that are occupying a lot of mind space.
Mhm.
One is people who are not living in the United States, who are reading their newspapers or watching their streams online and thinking that the US is not a welcoming place for immigrants anymore because of government policy.
Mhm.
What I would like you to do is explain how that is actually not true. On a college campus, diversity is very much an important part of the learning experience, that international students are not only welcome, they're wanted and desired, and will be embraced here. And so talk a little bit about that for internationals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could.
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead, Jessica.
good. I was just going to mention a few things. One being that a large population of students, especially in our STEM programs, are international.
Right.
So, you're not standing out in that sense, or you're not alone there.
You're
Another
going to
great
find
thing
your
about
tribe.
exactly. And it's, even further than Isenberg, you're at UMass Amherst, you're at this large institution that offers clubs and organizations and advocacy groups. And there's always going to be, either like-minded individuals who you can connect with or people who are curious about learning more and want to support you and want to help you. So I think that's kind of the benefit of having this really close-knit community at Isenberg, but then also opportunities to venture out and find students across campus who you may be able to connect with and find support in.
Indeed. I mean,
Yeah.
the other big issue right now is AI and how that will impact the way we live and work in the future, in addition to how it's already impacting it. I wonder to what extent AI has been incorporated in the program, because after all, a lot of the nitty-gritty analytics will probably be done by AI in the future. And I would imagine that it's an incredible tool for your graduates to become more productive and more efficient.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
can
I would say that AI is absolutely being researched by our top-notch faculty and incorporated in the classroom. And then we're also leveraging it, as I mentioned, in career services, right? Whether we are using it, especially for international students who may struggle with communication, like using, ChatGPT to kind of get a baseline and then developing the how that feels, whether it be a cover letter or some other written content, being able to tailor that. So there is good in AI. It's just bringing your human, unauthentic nature to the written communication styles. As well as I mentioned, we're really embracing the meta headset space. And so being able to use that tool specifically for career services and being able for our students to find some private space to conduct an interview in real time and then receive feedback from this AI system is incredible and something we've never been able to leverage before. So even though I think we're very much concerned about where AI will go, I think if our students embrace it and understand how to use these tools effectively, then they'll be successful in the workforce.
What about your start date? So do you have more than one intake or not?
We do. So we have spring, summer, and fall intakes for
Mhm.
our Amherst location and online. And then Newton, we only have a fall start. Those courses are a bit more structured, but you can start the program any term.
So a lot of flexibility there, and I'm assuming the online
Yeah,
option has plenty of flexibility as well.
absolutely. Yep. Online, spring, summer, fall. Um, and with the online program, you can just take one class at a time, even. So you definitely have that flexibility there.
Right. And are there internships that are available to students?
Yeah, absolutely. So internships come in a different, obviously, process working with our employer relations side. So we have employer partners and we identify opportunities that would be suitable for our students and especially of interest to them, right? So we work with our intake and our career coaches, understand the incoming cohort, and then we align on that strategy with employer relations. We have a number of opportunities for information sessions, whether it be virtual or employers in our building, kind of having those conversations about internships that we hope will lead to their full time.
Mhm.
And again, we do have some students who I would say will take advantage of an internship in that summer because they need to advance their skill sets, they're building up their resume. But we also have some students who look at that as a runway to a full time and really will just start working on a full time opportunity. They might do some winter development, they might do a forage or an internship like opportunity, more hands on, but they're really probably looking for that full time job. And so, yeah, it's on employer relations to kind of bring these to light and showcase the students what they may not know in terms of employer opportunities, especially in the internship space.
Right. Now, what are you looking for in an ideal candidate for the program?
Yeah, like I mentioned, we accept students from all academic and professional backgrounds. So a lot of people ask, I don't have experience. I don't even really know Excel. And we understand that students are pivoting a little bit or looking to add this skill set. So generally, what we're looking for in the application, especially in the personal statement, is just explain to us what led you to this path. What has your experience been, both academically and professionally, that made you realize you want these additional analytic skills? And at the same time, what about Isenberg in particular appeals to you? Is it because you went to undergrad here? Are you connected with alumni who went here? Is there a company that you see a lot of our alum working at that you want to follow in their footsteps and you're drawn to our program? Is it a specific class, a faculty member you're excited to work with? So, a couple points about our specific program that really stands out to you. Um, but we know that students are coming in without maybe super clear career goals, and that's okay too. Just kind of recognizing the importance of these data analytics skills, regardless of the industry or role that you're
Right.
eventually going to be pursuing.
Right. Yeah, makes total sense. And there is there a boot camp for people who are have math phobia? Like me.
We do, so we do often recommend at least doing like an Excel boot camp before the program starts. And generally that's enough to provide the foundation to succeed in the rest of the classes. Um, we generally do want students to have some quantitative background. So even just taking like gen ed statistics or calculus courses in undergrad, again, is usually enough of a foundation to succeed in the program. So it doesn't need to be anything super elaborate, but general understanding of algebra can be helpful.
Now, I hate standardized tests. Do I have to take one to apply?
Typically, no. We offer a lot of waivers. So the GMAT GRE is a requirement on the application. But if you do have an undergrad GPA of 3.0 or higher, and then strong scores B or better in a couple of those math classes, you're welcome to apply without a GMAT or GRE. Additionally, if you have some work experience, especially working with analytics or maybe in finance, working with data or working with numbers, that can provide some flexibility in that waiver offering as well. But we always encourage applicants to connect with our office if they're unsure about their profile, and we can provide some guidance there.
Do you interview applicants or not?
For this program, we don't have a formal interview process. No, so it's just through that personal statement that we're really getting to know them and what their interests are.
Now, let's pretend I'm an international student. I've never been to the US. I have no idea where Amherst is, uh, or if I should go to Newton instead. So, if I want that full-time residential experience, tell me what it would be like to come to Amherst.
Bring a jacket is my first tip. The Amherst location is definitely the more like immersive, typical college experience. So if you do want that community and a lot of like hands-on and in-person resources, definitely encourage you to look at that Amherst location. Um, I'll pause there. I was going to go into New Inn, but don't know if we're there yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful part of the country for one thing, um, with the Berkshires, and it's very beautiful. And this time of the year, it's spectacular because you have autumn and all the trees are different colors and hues. It's a beautiful place to be, and it is. Amherst is the quintessential New England college town because you're one of five universities or colleges in and around Amherst. So it's very young, it's very dynamic. There are a lot of fun things to do, and it's a place that you'd be very comfortable to spend a year in, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I would also say to highlight like where we are, our students can really kind of focus on their studies and there's enough going on that they can take advantage of extracurricular sports or clubs or things like that. But we're also not far from Boston and New York. And so transportation to be able to get into those cities is relatively easy. And so you have access to the cities, in our back pocket, but also we're tucked away just enough where you can have just more of that immersive college experience, like you mentioned, that has museums and hiking and all different activities that are very much Massachusetts.
Yeah, true. And if you want to be closer to Boston, there's the Newton option, which is only
Yes.
10 miles away. And you can actually live in the city and do a little commute, I imagine, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. There's also residential opportunities to live on that campus. It is close to the transportation, so you can take the T into the city. There's also an Uber access to getting around that area. So it is set up for that level of success for our students who want to be on that campus too, especially closer to the Boston area.
And for those of you who are wondering what the T is, it is a subway or a metro system. But in Boston, everyone calls it the T.
It's true.
So I wonder, how does the program sort of foster a supportive and collaborative culture? Because I think, a sense of belonging is really important for an incoming student, whether they're domestic or international.
I think part of that would be right off the bat, we're connecting students to one another and to staff and faculty through that kind of career kickoff boot camp that starts the program. Um, and then throughout your time in the program, joining student organizations. So the Graduate Business Association or Women in Business are ways to get to know students across graduate programs. So not just the MSBA program, but MBA students and finance students and cross collaboration there and getting that networking experience and real world experience with your peers are the first things that I'm thinking of. Trista, I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would just also say that like our faculty and staff are readily accessible. And so, we're at coffee events and we're at luncheons, and we really want our students to have, the most immersive community experience that they can. It's not a large cohort, right? It's relatively manageable in terms of getting to know your peers and getting to know your faculty and staff. And so really encouraging them to, be a part, like Jessica said, be a part of activities and organizations and ways that you can make an impact and find your community within the space.
Yeah, I should also point out, what are the advantages of being in a so-called college town or out of an urban center? And I think, one of the big advantages, frankly, is there is closer bonding with your classmates and the faculty. And the
Yeah.
faculty tend to be more available in a college town than they would be in an urban environment because, there are a lot of distractions, a lot of different things to do, and people just go off and they do them, and it makes faculty less accessible. When you're in a town like Amherst, I would think the faculty are far more invested than many in an urban center typically. So you get a lot more personal attention and create really good relationships that are long lasting with professors that can make a difference in your life. I
Absolutely.
think you find that to be true, right?
I absolutely do. Yeah, whether you're taking online courses or you're here on campus in Amherst, you have access to those faculty and they truly want to see our students succeed. They're available as needed. They're not just for academic advice, but also, just for general, mentorship and support and community, as you mentioned. So yeah, having access to faculty and staff is part of really the DNA of our program.
Now, do you offer scholarships at all?
We don't typically offer scholarships, so we have a flat tuition rate of 9.25 per credit, and that's regardless of residency and regardless of the format that you complete the
Oh,
program.
okay. Yeah, because I should say, UMass as a public institution, the tuition is very reasonable as well, and it's good value for the money for sure.
Absolutely.
So, for those who are interested in learning more about the program or the application process, who should they be connecting with in either admissions or career management?
Yeah, so to connect with admissions, that would be myself or another member of the recruitment team. So we schedule one-on-one phone appointments where students can, or prospective applicants can find a time to connect with us to speak about their profile or candidacy one-on-one. And we also host virtual info sessions. So if you're looking for a more holistic overview of each program kind of early on in the research process, definitely encourage you to attend one of those info sessions. Um, and then email, of course, always available there. So the recruitment team is kind of the front lines there and first point of contact that prospective applicants should be making.
Yeah, and I should point out you have a great website. There's a lot of information on the program and the courses that you would be required to
Mhm.
take when you enroll in the Masters in Business Analytics program. So you should definitely check out the website and get the nitty-gritty from there. And do that before you start engaging and connecting with people because, I think that the one most annoying thing you can do is to ask questions that are easily answered by simply doing 10 minutes of research. Um, you want to reserve your questions for more substantial issues or individual concerns that might not be addressed by what's on the website. Business analytics is it going to be as important in the future as it is today?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. In any different industry, in any different, kind of environment, analytical skills are going to continue to grow and continue to be of value, coupled with other experience that you have and industry and background. Um, it's going to continue to thrive in this environment, 100%.
And this is something that's become hot as data and information have become more readily available. We all know that online people are basically accumulating vast amounts of data
Yeah.
and then trying to interpret that data, make it useful and effective for decision making is what really businesses are trying to do, which is why the Master's in Business Analytics has become a very popular degree. In fact, one of the most popular specialty master's degrees in business, I'd say in the last 10 years for sure. Um, Very hot, a lot of jobs out there for people who have this expertise. And, some people may be wondering, okay, well, is AI going to hurt the entry-level jobs for people who come out of business analytics programs? I would tell you no, because frankly, AI was going to do the sort of grudge work that people had done in the past,
Yeah.
which will allow you to focus on more sophisticated uses and the decision-making part of business analytics and what comes out of it. So let me thank Trista and Jessica for being with us today. Really appreciate it. And if you
I
are
do.
interested, check out the website and do what was suggested here. Talk to some alumni, even connect with students if you can go to a campus, either Newton or Amherst. Do it, have a coffee with a current student and get the frontline view of the program. That would really be helpful to you, I think. All right, well, check it out. Masters in Business Analytics at UMass Isenberg School of Management in the beautiful town of Amherst. I loved my time there when I would visit my daughter. It is a fantastic place to spend a year. Frankly, a great place to spend more than a year. But in this program, it will only be a year. All right. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Thanks for watching.